Hey guys, this is the day cycle in Construct 3. You can adapt this code for other game engines. In Construct 3 is event based, so you have conditions on the left side and actions on the right. I think it's kind of easy to understand, but if you have a problem, just let me know. So first off, we have the functions on the top, and then the logic on the second part. This function is not really useful for the purpose of this video because it's related to the dice roll, so it's kind of useless. The point of this video is that if you want to make a day cycle, you can, in Construct 3 at least, you can just check the code here and recreate it on your own, and in other game engines you can do the same. So the main important function is the time change function, which takes a new time as a string. So the time change function. So it has a current color RGB and it has a new color RGB. G underline day cycle, this is a dictionary which holds some variables. If the current time is morning, then the current color will be these. If it's afternoon, then it's going to be 255 for all of them. Evening has these colors, night has these colors. Now, if the new time that the user is trying to change to is morning, these are the new colors. So first it gets the current colors here, and then it gets the new colors here. If a time is found, well, if a time is not found, it's going to throw an error. Otherwise, the tween will run. So this tween manager is holding a tween behavior, a tween function, which tweens the color RGB from current color to new color in the changing time parameter, which is this. So you can be like, well, current time is morning, I want it to change to evening in 3 seconds. You would use the time change function with new time evening and the changing time 3. The next function is time apply instantly current time, which just applies it instantly. Time cycle, this changes from, let's say, from morning to night. If it's morning and you want to change to night, it's going to go morning, afternoon, evening and night. So it uses the time change function and it waits for the function to finish, since time change is an async function here. So it goes through all of those events, and I'm just going to open them up in case you want to make something identical in Construct 3. Always an async function, you have to end with wait for previous action to complete, because otherwise it's gonna throw the time change and instantly it's gonna be like, okay, I'm done. We don't want that. Time cycle of full day. This is if it's, let's say, afternoon and you want to cycle a full day until the next afternoon. Basically it's gonna just time change multiple times depending on what the current time is. Morning, afternoon, evening, and night. And this just checks if the time is assigned, because each scene in SkyRanch starts at a new time. The crossroads, for example, starts in the afternoon. The barn garden starts in the evening. We set here the initial time of each layout based on the day cycle initial time array. When it ends, we set the current time to nothing, because the next scene, the next location will have this initialized. This is the tween manager logic. As long as it's working, as it's playing, we set to the red S, green S and blue S, we set it to a tween manager value. I underline with S because I want to keep track of variables and objects that I must save. So whenever in my code, whenever you see an underline S, it means I need to save it. If it's NS, I don't need to save it. And now I want to show you the apply color to environment function. Basically how Frost and I tried to make art. Well, was to set it in the afternoon, so that then we can programmatically change the colors for most elements, and it would appear like at night, morning, etc. But it kind of depends, because for example here this checks that the location is the crossroads. So you see some of them set the color to red multiplied by 2, and here the same. Here I multiplied blue by 1.7, and this is because it took a lot of testing to figure out the proper RGB for certain sprites, but most of them just go to the assigned red, green and blue from the functions. So this was it. I'll show you very fast how it looks in case you haven't seen. So this is the debug menu that I have. I'm gonna go to Crossroads. Also, some elements have not been adjusted. For example, here, this sign that has neon lights. So if I want to cycle to the evening in 4 seconds, you will notice that the lights are still as bright. So this is the evening, and if we go to night, you see how vibrant these are? They look great. And we can also cycle to the next night, for example. And there's logic behind the time changing for the corn garbler, for example, for the squirrel on the floor, and for Blitz Chaos. As time passes, the chaos chills and the squirrel loses blood, so whenever blood would feed on it, it would have less and less nutrients. Thank you guys for sticking around, and thank you for your support on Patreon. This is going to be a Patreon only video. Have a nice one.